Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Aniba freelancing only from Rehan to Lahore campus. Today we will talk about problem solving. What is real problem I want to solve?
Wa alaikum assalam, Aniba. I'm really glad you're here. So let's take a moment to get to the heart of it. What's been on your mind lately? Something that's been feeling like a hurdle or a recurring issue? Once we identify it, we can start reframing and digging deeper to really solve it.
Why is the problem important?
That's a great follow-up question. So once you've identified the problem, it's really crucial to ask who is impacted by it and what happens if it stays unsolved. The more you connect to that deeper purpose, whether it's about your personal growth, a team success, or just a bigger vision, the more motivated you'll be to tackle it creatively and effectively.
Who or what is affected by it?
Exactly. By really anchoring yourself in that why, you start seeing the bigger picture. So what kind of impact would solving this problem have on you, others, or maybe a long-term goal? Once we see that, we can make sure the solutions we come up with really align with what matters most.
What is the idea for problem solving? Tell me.
So the core idea behind problem solving is to turn uncertainty into clarity by systematically exploring options. It's about breaking a complex system, challenging assumptions, and test solutions. The goal is to stay open, iterate, and let insights guide you step by step.
What exactly is the real problem here? What I am assuming that might be wrong.
That's a really good focus. Let's be honest about it. What you think is the problem might just be a surface symptom. So ask yourself, what am I taking for granted? What might I be blaming when there's a deeper cause? Maybe a habit, a miscommunication, or a hidden constraint. If you pause and re-examine that assumption, you might uncover a whole new way of tackling it. What do you think might be lurking beneath the surface?
What does work it? Why?
Exactly. Once you name that hidden assumption, you can test it. And by doing that, you might realize your focus needs to shift. Or maybe you'll find a simpler solution that was just out of view. So if you're comfortable, what's one assumption you think you might be holding on to that could be steering you in the wrong direction?
Tell me about my problem. I have a problem, and why? How can I solve this? Use different ways to solve the problems in flexible.
Of course, I'd love to help and what's been happening so far. Once I know that, uh, I can walk you through a few different approaches, like reframing the situation, using a structured problem-solving method, or testing small steps.
What has works for similar problems like to solve this?
Perfect. So one approach is to look at similar problems you faced before. Think about a time when you overcame a challenge that felt like this one. What steps did you take? What worked or didn't work? Then you can adapt that process. Another method is to brainstorm with a small group or even just write out 20 possible ideas, no matter how outlandish.
How can I
Often
combine?
you let you. Sure. So let's narrow it down. What kind of resources or steps do you have right now? For example, do you have any past attempts, data, or maybe people you can consult? If we ground it in what you already have, I can suggest a tailored next step, whether it's a small experiment, a feedback loop, or a new perspective.
How can I approach the two different problems can solve same ideas?
Absolutely. Often different problems share underlying patterns or structures, so you can identify common principles like communication breakdown, time management, or resource allocation, and apply the same creative a template. Once you solve one P by side and see where they overlap,
What is the smallest change at the could make a big difference?
that's a really powerful question. Often the smallest tweak is something super simple, like setting a new daily habit, clarifying a communication step, you're adjusting a deadline. Once you implement that small shift, it often has a positive ripple effect in motion.
Which idea is simplest for try first to solving the problems?
Exactly. So once you identify the simplest idea, something that's easy to implement, you try that first. Then you can test it, see how it works, and if it moves the needle. That way you don't get stuck overcomplicating things. What's one straightforward step you could take right now that feels doable?
How would go wrong with this solution?
That's a great follow-up. Once you have that initial solution, you build confidence by setting small milestones, track progress, gather feedback, and adjust as needed. Also, celebrate even tiny wins, they keep you motivated. Over time, as you see results, you can scale the solution or adapt it to other areas. What's one milestone you think you could set for yourself this week?
How can I test before fully committing?
Great point. Before you fully commit, you can run a small-scale test, like a pilot or a prototype. Set a short time frame or a small audience to gauge how well it works. Collect data, get feedback, and see if it moves you closer to the outcome you want. That way you can confidently adjust before going all in.
How can we learn from problems?
That's a really important step. After the test, reflect on what worked, what didn't, and what surprised you. Ask yourself, what did I expect versus what actually happened? And how can I apply that insight to a future situation? By turning each problem into a learning moment, you grow your problem-solving skills step by step.
How can I make my thinking more flexible?
Ah, Great question. A few ways to do this. First, set aside time for reflection, journaling, or just pausing to ask yourself deeper questions. People out to ask why multiple times. This helps break automatic thinking patterns. Over time, it will become more natural.
What is causing the situation to continue with problem?
That's a key question to ask. So take a moment to trace back the condition, like a lack of clarity, or maybe even an assumption that just never got questioned. Once you spot that driver, you can disrupt it, and that often stops the problem from repeating.
What step will be wrong with the problem solving?
Exactly. Once you identify the real driver, you can implement a small change that directly doesn't fully resolve it. You can keep refining. So by staying curious and iterative, you break the cycle, and move toward a more lasting solution.
Okay, thank you so much for answering my questions. Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz.